So I've come to a realization that I already knew about but was trying to avoid, which is I hate fallen empires, and I hate the endgame crises. I can't stand them. Like, if I'm in a situation where I'm literally like, it was so satisfying when I'm like trying to get just one planet and I'm having to fight 3 empires at the same time, and I pull it off. And then I wait the 10 years and I do my shit in the background, and I turn around and I'm like, all right, let me go. I'm gonna go get 2 planets. I'm gonna launch this attack. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other, and blam! Here comes the Onion Crisis. And it's like everything fucking shifts and everything changes, and you're not playing the same game anymore. You're just fucking dealing with this endgame crisis. And yes, that's why they call it an endgame crisis. But it's like, okay, fine. So I learned how to deal with that, and I dropped the fucking difficulty down to match the size that I play on, and blah blah blah, and I did that. And it's like, okay, well, I did this guy, and I have these guys over here, even though I'm literally completely fucked with everything I'm doing. And like, you know, my fleet composition is bullshit, and everything is bullshit, and nothing really works anymore. But whatever, I finally handle one of them, and I start chipping away at the second fucking thing that spawns. And you know what happens? Then, surprisingly enough, oh hey, one of the fallen empires has to wake up. And I don't like fallen empires in the first place. I don't like how... I don't like how you can't get close to them. I don't like any of it. So I'm gonna do what I've been wanting to do for a while, which is I'm gonna do what I'm calling the First Empires playthrough. And what that means is no fallen empires, no endgame crisis, though if I was to turn something back on, that would be the one I would turn back on. 250%. I'm gonna bump that up to 45. No, that seems wrong. What was it at? 30? So I'm trying to figure out how to design it. So basically the concept is, all you hear about, fuck, I don't remember what it was. Is there like a way to restart it? All you hear about, there we go, is, you know, you have the fallen empires, and they were around since the first time, and blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And I never liked that idea. I like the idea of basically, alright, so we're at 30. Let's leave it at 30. Leave it at 30. So I like the idea of being like, aside from the precursors, because that stuff is still going to be in here, and that's like the reason I still have a ring world, blah blah blah. Or just because it's cool as fuck. But I don't like the idea of everything that we're all working on being fucked with. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bump that up to 40 to make up for the lack of fallen empires, and that makes sense to me. Whatever, we're gonna leave it there. 250% habitable world to basically say, hey, you know, this is like, so we'll give it a try. But I mean, like, I've been wanting to do it, and it's like I've been wanting to try it, but it's, you know, everything you hear about is, you know, it's all about the fallen empires, and it's all about this, and it's all about that. It's just weird to me, because, like, people like the fallen empires, and people like the crises, and all that shit, and it just bugs the shit out of me. I'm like, it's like, go away. So, you know, and it's like I was telling my roommate, like, it's not that I was, you know, doing horribly. It's not like I'm like, oh, I don't want to have any difficulty. It's just that I don't find that feels more like artificial difficulty to me. And it just kind of screws with my head. Like, I don't like the idea of finally getting out there and, oh, hey, I'm gonna put that there just in case. You know, finally getting out there and, oh, hey, here's fallen empires and this, that, and the other and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't like that idea or concept. Jesus. What is this? Crystalline entities, I see. I just... See, here's the weird thing about the forearm spiral. You're still only dealing with, like, 3 arms. They're just thinner. Whatever. I don't know, like, it kind of ruins it for me. It's kind of like... I don't know. I just dislike the idea. I dislike... Like, what was cool to me was getting to the point where I could realistically be like, okay, there are, you know, I want to try to clean up the mess that middle arm had become. And to start working on that, I had to basically deal with 3 different empires that were defensive pack linked. So it's like, you know, there's some shit for that. But it's not easy. You're literally fighting 3 empires just to take 1 planet, and then just to take 2 planets. So, you know, that requires a decent amount of strategy and fleet building and fleet concepts and how do you attack and when to attack and what do you attack and what order and how you do it, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, and then what's funny is it happened to me.
Construction complete.
In the
situation log updated.
In the one of the other ones I was doing, the major one, the one I actually half stopped. Well, the one I did stop until I went back in. I stopped until I went back into it because of how badly the galaxy got fucked when War in Heaven started. And I eventually went back to that one and started working on it. I mean, and there was an aspect that was cool in terms of how it reset the whole galaxy. But at the same time, that was also, oh, I was in the middle of a war on that one. And then the fucking thing happens, and it's just like, god damn it. Like, I don't find that fun. I don't mind some unexpectedness, I don't mind, like, things, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm, but you're sitting there and I think I play on maps that are too big. Because, like, I'm over here, and I'm like, alright, well, if I do this, I can start expanding this way, and then all of a sudden, it's like, you know, and I'm like the number 1 or I'm in the top 5 or top 10 or top, you know, couple strongest empires, and my fleet strength combined is like 40k. And then the other things start, and it's like, oh, hey, we have a fleet strength of like 500,000. I definitely think the size of the empires I play on is just too big for what happens. But like I said, it just bugs me. So I'm turning it off. And I'm gonna try the idea I always wanted to try, which is no crises, and no fallen empires. And the thing that get me about fallen empires too is it fucks up strategic colonization. Like, you can be like, oh, okay, well, if I get, you know, if I can colonize right here, then I can wrap around this guy over here, and I can blah, 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 do all that stuff. And then you're like, oh no, here's a fallen empire taking up this whole section that I'm not even going to be able to begin to think about doing anything with for the next, you know, for so long it's just about worthless. So I'm looking at the map. I actually do miss, alright, since I haven't done shit. Surprisingly enough, I do miss the four lane one. So we'll do a four arm one. So none of you. So 7 of you. We said 250% to represent 7, and we'll throw in 3 more just to bump it up. That's fine. Normal. Any is fine. I was gonna do no clusters, but I actually tend to prefer clusters, actually. Okay, there we go. Well, like I said, we're gonna go into this first empire. So aside from the precursors, there's no fallen empires to worry about. And we're turning off Crisis just to try it out. Ooh, that's not nice. This is like critical, but that's so good. Fuck it, we'll hope it comes back. Alright, I didn't realize how much I dislike until, ironically enough, in that last match where I finally got to the point where I could research the sensors to figure out where the fuck everybody was. So alright, almost done with my pre. And let's see, where are we? Ooh, we're on an edge. We're on an edge. We're on an edge. Somebody's right here. Doesn't look like anybody's to the right, though. Yeah, surprisingly enough, I do. Like, they're thinner, but I guess I do kind of prefer having the multiple lanes. Somebody's literally right here, though. Anybody else? That's about all I can see. I want to say somebody's right here, too. So, we'll see. He's a good job, no? But
construction complete.
I think didn't I bump it up to 250? Whatever, we'll try this out. I don't feel like going out of the game again.
Situation log updated. Situation log updated. Anomaly found.
You know, I was just thinking, some of those first games, I played so ridiculously aggressive. Like in one of the first games when I was still trying to figure shit out, if I'd have known this person was here, I'd have been like, alright, I'm going to put a frontier outpost here and here and here to just lock them in. Which has its merits in terms of a strategy, but when you don't know what you're doing, it could result in you getting obliterated. So I'm surprised, because it just kind of let me do it. I mean, I can do that now, but I would do it for completely different reasons and going into it knowing what I'm potentially causing. And it's not like you don't, like, fight for space, because you have to, or else you can get locked in and then you're stuck, which can happen regardless of, you know, them being there. Even if you're just surrounded by, one of my other games, you're surrounded by multiple, like, hostile factions, you're not gonna basically want to breathe. You're not gonna want to expand or do anything, because you're not gonna want to trigger them to attack you, which has happened to me as well. You want to wait until you're more ready, prepared for it, to launch an assault yourself, as opposed to sitting there and being assaulted. But I mean, with that being the case, there's still the, you know, depending on who's here, if they're sort of friendly or not friendly, you still want to try to position yourself and take the specific spots which keep you from being locked in, as well as try to lock them. I mean, it's definitely about position and placement, and, you know, can you get your people in the right area, in the right space, at the right time, to make sure that you don't get locked in. Because the second you get locked in is the second you start running into all the problems. So, you know, there's still that facet of gameplay, and you run into it when you start, you know, expanding and looking at other empires who are at the same time trying to lock you out. But there's just this aspect, I don't know, like, I'm just thinking back, like, I would literally be so ridiculously aggressive. I'm wondering if just how outrageous it was sort of prevented it from backfiring on me quite so bad, because I think I did it to, like, one of the military isolationist type people, and I'm just like, nope, I'm gonna lock you in. But it was when I had no idea how influence worked, so all of a sudden I was completely out of influence and couldn't do shit. May not be very long tonight. Went to the gym for, like, the first time in a couple weeks, or a week or so, which I hadn't been doing because of all the shit that's going on in my life, so I'm kind of exhausted right now, to be honest with you. I just wanted to kind of start this, because this is what I've been wanting to try. And I kind of made myself do the Fallen Empire thing and the Crisis thing. You know, just basically work on them enough that I could say, okay, I have a general understanding of where to go from here, or a basis I could build on if I wanted to start forming strategies to like deal with the situation, which is fine to an extent, but I just don't like it.
System survey complete.
It's just, ugh. It's like, oh hey, everything you were working on, all the ideas, all the strategies are now completely thrown out the window. The entire galaxy is reshuffled. It's like, it's not fun to me when that happens. Especially when you're spending all the time investing in trying to get a good lay of the land so you can basically attack everything. Meh. I'm sure that's why people absolutely love it, but I'm gonna try this and see what happens. Okay. So, mostly it's sitting here listening to me ramble for 20 minutes. But, yeah, I just wanted to start the new map and basically tell the concept behind it and start working on it more later on. So, bye for now.